Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. Today we are going to be discussing how to import donations that come from an online giving company. The information we're going to be going over today comes from our donations workbook, the D103 workbook, and it's specifically pages 11 through 18. So if you have that workbook and you would like to follow along, feel free to do so. So a couple things about importing donations. Church Windows itself does not have the ability for people to directly give to, say, the Church Windows software. You're going to have to partner up or join a company that has the ability to track online giving. So one of our partners is v22. v22 is a very popular, widely used online giving company that you can go with. But some other companies that we also work with are Authorize.net, Ardent, Clover Donations, EFT Plus, and eGiving. So those are all options for you to be able to track and then import giving into Church Windows. Now, that's only a small listing of companies that you have the ability to work with to track online giving. So if you decide to go with a company other than the ones that we have preset here in our program under this import donations option, you can. And that's why we have this text file option here. So if you decide to go with a company other than the ones listed above, if that company is then able to give you a text file that includes the giver, the date, the amount, and the account that the individual wants their donations to go to. If they can get that to you in a text file, most likely you're going to be able to import that text file into the Church Windows program to then create those donations that will appear on the individual's record. So in today's webinar, I'm going to go over how to use v22. v22 has a really nice process that streamline with them for importing giving via download. So Church Windows actually makes a direct connection with v22 over the internet, and with just a couple clicks you can easily pull in the giving that falls within a specific date range. Now the other companies you see listed here, you are able to import giving from those companies. You'll just need to get a text file from them, and then you'll save that text file locally, and then once it's saved you'll be able to go in, grab that text file, and input the donations that are included on that text file. Okay. Now the last option here, again, this is if you are using a company other than the ones up here, and you want to be able to import the giving from that company. Okay, so bottom of page 11, let's start with the text file option. I want to show you how you are able to then import giving that you get from a company other than the ones listed above, and how to get that information imported into the Church Windows program. Okay, so I'll go ahead and select text file up here. And when this opens, you see you have a section here that's asking for field names from the file. Now let me show you what that means. I'm going to go ahead and open up that file. And on that file, you can see that there are 4 columns that are tab delimited. You have a giver ID column, you have an account ID column, an amount column, and a date column. So those are the 4 fields that Church Windows requires you to have filled in to be able to import donations. Okay, now let's compare the file with what we have in our program. We need to tell Church Windows to look at these specific columns when pulling information into Church Windows. So we have to match this column header and fill it in here so the program knows to look in the right spot. So date field is set up correctly because the column header is just date. Giver field, it needs to say giver ID. So I'm actually going to click in here and I'm going to change this to say giver ID so the program looks in the appropriate spot for the giver or whomever made the donation. Amount simply says amount, so that matches. And then the account field says ACCT ID, so I need to change that. So then the program looks in the proper location again to pull that information. Okay, this is a tab delimited file, so as you can see under where it says the file is, tab delimited is the option selected. Okay. Now that I have all of my column headers set up with my field names, I'm going to close out of here. And now I'm going to jump over to this Import Donations tab. This is where I'm actually going to browse to that file itself and then import it into the Church Windows program. So I'm going to hit the Select Import File button, and then I'm browsing to that file, selecting that file, and then I'm going to hit Open. All right. Now, it's going to take me to this Unmatched Items from Import tab. Okay. This is where you actually match who the ID is to who the giver is. And same with the accounts. You have to link your accounts appropriately in Church Windows. So with this company that we used, for example, with our text file, anytime someone signed up to give, the program gave a ID to those people. So we have to make those matches within the Church Windows program. So anytime giver with all the ones gives, we need to tell Church Windows who that person is and who to credit within the program. Now, you're going to have to contact that online giving company to figure out what IDs belong to which individual. And then once you have the listing of who those individuals are, you're able to then go in and make your matches like I'm doing now. And once your matches are made, down here at the bottom, you're going to hit Save. So from this point forward, anytime someone with this ID gives, it automatically knows who to credit within the Church Windows program. Save. Now over here to the right, the same thing goes for your accounts. So these are your giving accounts. So anytime someone decides to give through your online giving company and they give to this account 100, you have to know what to credit within Church Windows when the import happens. So ID 100 is actually my building account. So I'm going to select that. And again, this is information you're going to have to get from your online giving company. We at Church Windows aren't going to know what accounts these IDs are for. That's where you'll need to reach out to that company, or even if, say, you're using Vanco, you can go out and log into your Vanco account on their website, and you'll be able to generate a report to know what goes where. Okay? So now that my matches are made, I'm going to save it. And it's going to tell me all items have been matched. Click the Imported Donations tab to create. So I'm going back to my first tab, and as you can see, I have 2 dates listed here. These are the 2 dates that donations came through for my online giving company. And from this point, you need to hit this Create Donations button. Then this actually creates the transactions. It creates the batches. So if you're used to working in Enter Donations and you save a batch, for example, and say you close out, come back later, it's an unposted batch, that's the same scenario these 2 dates are in until you come down here and hit the Post Batch button. If you like to print an unposted batch report, you would do that from here by simply hitting the Print Batch button, and that's going to give you an unposted batch report. Okay. Now, last step for this is to actually hit Post Batch. And since these are 2 separate dates, you have to post each one individually. Now that they are both posted, you've now completed entering your donations into Church Windows. If you want to print a posted batch report, you can definitely still do that up here at the top. Go to Posted Batches, come down here, find your date, hit the Print Batch button, and you'll be able to get a posted batch report just like you would for any of your manually entered donations. Okay. All right, next example. I go back up here to Import Donations. We did text file. Now let's say you're using one of our listed ones here below, other than Vanco, which we'll do in a moment. But let's go with EFT Plus as an example. Now, because they are preset, they are listed in here, this takes that first step out that we had to do with the text file import, where you actually had to go in and identify the column headers. If you're using have to identify the column headers. We have already preset that for you. So it's just a little bit of a shorter process for you if you're using one of these. Okay. But back at this screen, you're going to hit Select Import File. And again, once you get that file from the company, EFT Plus for this example, you're going to need to save that file locally somewhere on your machine that you have access to. So I'm going to go into my EFT Plus folder. I'm going to choose that one, and I'm going to say Open. Okay. Now, EFT Plus handles their IDs a little differently. The company we used before, they use numbers as their ID to account for their givers. This company actually uses the names of people that give. So the matching process is going to be a lot easier. This says Smith, Mary, and our program is smart enough to know that's Mary Smith, giver 303, and then you simply have to select it. Okay, so again, some companies, as their ID, they're going to use names. Some companies are just going to use numbers. Vanco, which is a popular one, they only use IDs. They only use numbers as their ID. But again, once you make your match, hit Save. Over here to the right under Accounts, you need to pick your giving account. And I'm just going to choose General Fund here. And then I'm going to save my account matches. Everything's been matched, so I'm going to go back to my Imported Donations tab, and as you can see here, I actually have 4 dates listed. I'm going to hit Create Donations. It's going to put everything into my Imported Batches screen, and from this point, I need to post. Sometimes you might get a message that says Monday, 3/2/2020 does not fall on the standard posting day, which is a Sunday. Do you want to continue? Yes. One of the great things about online giving is that people can give anytime, any day of the week and still get their money to the church. So we want to say continue. So we're going to say yes. And we're going to go through and we are going to post each of these. Again, if you want to print an unposted batch report, you can do that at the bottom using that print batch button. And we're just going to post all these. Now that our screen's empty, we've posted anything. Just like the text file import, if you want to get a posted batch report, you can do so by coming into posted batches, highlighting the dates that you need, and then hitting the print batch button, and that will get you your posted batch report as well. All right, so the last thing we are going to discuss is Vanco. Vanco's process is a little bit more streamlined because it is making that direct connection with Vanco servers to be able to pull your data in and get it into the program. So that means you don't have to mess with the text file. You aren't looking to get a text file from Vanco, saving it somewhere on your local machine that you then browse to and select to import. Vanco, with the direct download option, connects right up to Vanco servers over the internet, put in some credentials to access your specific set of giving, and then it pulls it right down into the donations module. Okay, so let me show you that. So up here at the top, we're going to go to Import Donations. We're going to choose Vanco and Import via Download. So this screen, there's no browse. You're not looking for that text file. This process skips that. But you do have to specify a date range. So you need to tell the program what range of giving you're wanting to import into donations. I'm going to do March 1st through the end of the month. Or no, actually, let me do it through today. So March through today. And one of the great things about this is that you aren't able to import something more than once. So if you forget the last time you did an import or what your date range needs to be, it is going to give you the last downloaded up to date, which you can refer to. But a nice safeguard is that the program does some checks and balances to make sure that you aren't going to import something more than once. So I'm going to hit this Begin Download button. It just wants me to verify that this is the date range I want. So I'm going to say yes. And then it's going to take me to this Vanco download screen. This is where you have to put in 3 different pieces of information for Church Windows to safely connect up to Vanco servers. You have a client ID, a login name, and a password. These 3 things you have to get from Vanco. Here at Church Windows, we do not know what your client ID, login name, or password is for Vanco. So you simply can put a call into Vanco, let them know you're wanting to import, you're using the Church Windows program, and they are very easily going to be able to give you those 3 pieces of information to be able to do your imports. Okay, so I'm going to put in my information. Once you get those credentials put in, you're going to hit OK. And then that connection between Church Windows and Vanco is going to begin. And just easy as that, now we're at our unmatched items import. So this is where you have to go in and tell the program what Vanco ID belongs to what. Okay, same thing with the other 2 options that I showed you. So if you're unsure who these Vanco IDs belong to, again, go out to Vanco. You can go to your My Vanco page, sign in, generate a report through their report generator to figure out what person belongs to what Vanco ID. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select my person. I'm going to make my matches here. I'm going to choose Nina, and then I'm going to also choose Carolyn. And then once you make your matches, you're going to save it. That way the program remembers you go to do an import again next week. These Vanco IDs pop up. It's going to know who to credit and you won't have to fill these in. Same thing over here. I'm going to say 0006 is my Easter account in Church Windows, and I'm going to save it. Okay. Now that everything's been saved, I'm going to come over here to my Imported Donations tab, and as you can see, we have a whole bunch of dates listed here when giving occurred within that date range up at the top. Okay, so at this point, you would be following the same process that we did with the last 2. You would simply hit Create Donations, and then you would have all of these dates listed out, and then you would need to go through and post all of those. And again, if you want a posted batch report, once you post these, you would go up to posted batches and you would get it that way. Now, if you are using our accounting program, I do want to point out something on our website that will be very beneficial to you. You have to account for the fees that are incurred when you do online giving. Most companies, I know Vanco does it this way, there's a fee that is associated with them processing a gift. So you have to account for that. Now, we have a lot of really good information on our website. Go to churchwindows.com and go to our support center. In the search box, just type in fees. The first option that pops up is this. It's called Accounting, Electronic Giving / Credit Card Fees. This is the option that you want to go to see how to handle those fees over in the accounting module. Okay, there is a really nice document here you can view and print out, and then also there's a video down here at the bottom. It was a previously presented webinar that Josh did. It's been recorded and cleaned up and put here on the website. Feel free to view that as well to be able to handle those fees over in the accounting module if you own that module as well. Okay. That covers everything I wanted to go over with you all today involving how to import donations from an online giving company. If you find you have any questions or you're struggling with this, please feel free to reach out to us. Send us an email to support@churchwindows.com, and we would be happy to help you any way that we can. Thank you and have a great day.